Questions. Let me start with a simple question. How many of you said, next year will be my year, and then next year came and left without even saying goodbye? Yes, that awkward silence is your answer. Questions. We don't fail because we lack motivation. We fail because we overestimate what we can do in 1 month and underestimate what habits can do in 1 year. Success doesn't come with fireworks. Questions. It comes quietly wearing the clothes of daily discipline. And today I want to tell you something very clearly. 2026 is not magical. Questions. You are the magic if you start behaving differently today. Story set up in minute 3 once. A student asked his teacher, will next year be better? The teacher smiled and said, questions. Next year will be the same unless you change. A friend's time does not transform lives. Habits do. And today I'm not here to motivate you for 10 minutes. Questions. I'm here to reprogram how you live every day. So if you want 2026 to be your year, you must start practicing these 10 habits in 2025. Most people don't wake up in the morning. Questions. They check into other people's lives, phone, WhatsApp, Instagram, stress. The first voice you hear every morning becomes the director of your day. If the first thing you see is chaos, questions, your mind will follow chaos. Before touching your phone, touch your purpose. Sit for 2 minutes. Ask yourself questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? Winners don't start their day reacting. They started deciding. Success is not about doing many easy things. Questions. It's about doing one uncomfortable thing consistently. Go for the walk. Make the call. Study when you don't feel like it. Say no when it's hard. Questions. Discipline is painful, but regret is more painful. Remember, your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Complaining feels productive, but it's emotional junk food. Questions. It fills you and leaves you weaker. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Life is always speaking. Wise people listen. Average people complain. Questions. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. If your friends mock discipline, normalize laziness, laugh at ambition, then no motivation video can save you. Questions. You don't need many people. You need aligned people. If you want to fly, stop consulting people who love crawling. What you eat affects your body for a few hours. Questions. What you consume mentally affects your life direction. If your mind eats gossip, negativity, cheap entertainment, don't be surprised when your life produces cheap results. Read. Listen. Questions. Reflect. Your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant grows. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your self-trust dies a little. You say, I'll wake up early. You don't. Questions. I'll start tomorrow. You don't. Eventually your own mind stops believing you. A confidence is not built by hype. It's built by self-respect. Start small, but finish what you start. Questions. If you can't sit quietly with yourself, you will always need noise to escape your thoughts. Silence is uncomfortable because it shows you who you are becoming. But silence is also where questions. Clarity is born, healing happens, purpose whispers, spend time alone. Not scrolling, not escaping, just being. Motivation is like a guest. It comes, eats, and leaves. Systems are like family. Questions. Don't say, I'll work out when I feel motivated. Say, at 6 a.m. I work out. No discussion. I'll remove choice. Remove drama. Questions. For systems make success boring and inevitable. Anyone can be grateful on good days. But champions find gratitude in chaos. Gratitude doesn't deny pain. It gives pain meaning. When you say, questions, this is hard but I'm learning, you turn obstacles into stepping stones. A grateful heart is a powerful heart. Most people wait for confidence. Confident people act first. Questions. Courage comes after action. Clarity comes after movement. You will never feel 100% ready. And that's okay. Start messy. Start scared. Just start. Questions. Every morning before the world starts shouting at you, there is a small, silent moment that decides the quality of your entire day. That moment is not when you brush your teeth or drink your tea. Questions. That moment is when you open your eyes. What you choose to do in the first few minutes after waking up quietly programs your mind for the next 16 hours. Questions. Think about a very common scene from daily life. The alarm rings, you open one eye. Your hand doesn't look for water. It doesn't look for sunlight. It doesn't even look for motivation. Questions. It goes straight to the phone. One message says, urgent. Another says, call me. A notification shows someone else's success, someone else's vacation, someone else's perfect life. Questions. Within 3 minutes, your heart rate has increased, your mind is already tired, and the day hasn't even started yet. You didn't wake up, you were pulled into other people's problems. Questions. This is what it means to wake up with notifications. You begin your day in reaction mode. You allow the outside world to decide your mood, your speed, and your stress level. Questions. And then we wonder why the day feels heavy, rushed, and unproductive. It's because the first voice we listen to is not our own. Now imagine a different morning, same room, same alarm. Questions. But instead of immediately grabbing the phone, you sit up for a moment. You take one deep breath. You remind yourself, I am alive. I have one more day. You ask a simple question. Questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? Calm, focused, kind, disciplined. One question creates direction. That is waking up with intention. Questions. Intention does not mean you need a perfect morning routine or 1 hour of meditation. Intention simply means you decide before the world decides for you. Questions. Just like when you get into a car and put the destination first before driving, your mind also needs a direction. Without intention, you may move all day, but reach nowhere. Look at successful people. Questions. Not from social media, but in real life. The calm colleague, the consistent student, the emotionally strong parent. You will notice one thing, they are not rushed from the inside. They may be busy. Questions. But they are not chaotic. That calm does not come from luck. It comes from how they start their day. A school teacher once shared a beautiful habit. Before entering the classroom every morning, questions. She pauses for 10 seconds and reminds herself, today I will teach with patience. Those 10 seconds change how she reacts to noise, mistakes, and stress. The same students, questions, the same syllabus, but a different experience because the intention was set early. Most people say, my day went bad. But the truth is, the day didn't go bad. Questions. The day was allowed to go uncontrolled. When you don't lead your morning leads you. Waking up with intention also builds self-respect. Questions. When you choose not to touch your phone immediately, you are telling your mind, my life is more important than other people's updates. This small act strengthens your inner authority. Questions. You stop being a follower of circumstances and start becoming a leader of your own mind. Think of the mind like a child. If you give it a phone the moment it wakes up, it becomes restless, distracted, questions, and demanding. If you give it calm, clarity, and direction, it becomes cooperative and focused. What you feed your mind in the first 5 minutes decides its behavior for the rest of the day. Questions. Many people say they don't have control over their emotions. But emotions are often reactions, not accidents. And reactions are shaped by how prepared we are. Questions. A mind that wakes up with intention is less likely to panic, overthink, or explode over small issues. It has already been grounded. From a practical point of view, questions. Waking up with intention also improves productivity. When you decide one priority for the day in the morning, your brain starts filtering distractions automatically. Questions. You may still receive messages and calls, but they no longer control you. You respond, not react. Even in family life, this habit makes a difference. Questions. A parent who wakes up plus stress spreads stress at home without realizing it. A parent who wakes up with calm spreads safety. Questions. Children don't listen to instructions as much as they absorb emotional energy. Your intention becomes their environment. You don't need to change your entire life to practice this habit. Questions. Start small. Tomorrow morning, before touching your phone, sit on the bed for 1 minute. Place your feet on the ground. Take one deep breath. Say one sentence in your mind such as, today. Questions. I will give my best, or today I will stay calm no matter what. That's it. No drama. No perfection. Over time, this 1 minute becomes a powerful anchor. On difficult days, questions, it becomes your shield. On good days, it becomes your accelerator. Slowly, you will notice something beautiful. Days will start feeling less heavy even when problems exist. Remember, questions. The world will always demand your attention. Notifications will never stop. But peace is not found by controlling the world. It is found by controlling the first moment of your day. Questions. When you wake up with intention, you are telling life, I am ready but on my terms. And that one decision, repeated every morning, quietly builds a life of clarity, strength and purpose. Questions. Most people think success comes from doing many things in one day. In reality, success comes from doing one difficult that most people avoid. Not 10 things, not 100 things, just one. Questions. Every single day. Look at daily life. We all have a list in our head of things we should do. Exercise, study, make that phone call, have that uncomfortable conversation, wake up early. Questions. Stop procrastinating. And yet we keep choosing the easy option. We scroll instead of studying. We delay instead of deciding. We avoid instead of acting. Not because we are lazy, questions, but because the human mind is naturally attracted to comfort. Doing one hard thing daily is not about becoming harsh or extreme. It is about training your mind to choose growth over comfort. Questions. Think of it like going to the gym. No one becomes fit by lifting all the weights on day one. They become fit by lifting one uncomfortable weight again and again until the body adapts. Questions. Life works the same way. A young office employee once shared a simple story. Every morning, he used to delay sending one important email because he feared rejection. Questions. He would do all the small tasks first. Tea, chatting, checking files, but avoid that one email. One day, he decided that no matter how uncomfortable it felt, questions, he would send that email as the first task of the day. It took him 5 minutes. But the confidence it gave him lasted the entire day. Slowly, questions. That habit changed how he faced fear everywhere else in life. Hard things are not always dramatic. Sometimes the hard thing is waking up when the bed feels too comfortable. Questions. Sometimes it is saying no to a habit that is slowly harming you. Sometimes it is sitting with a book when your phone is calling you. Sometimes it is apologizing when your ego wants to win. Questions. These small moments don't look heroic, but they build heroic character. We often wait to feel ready before doing hard things. But readiness is a feeling, and feelings change like weather. Questions. Discipline is a decision, and decisions create results. When you decide to do one hard thing daily, you stop negotiating with your mind. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start saying, questions. This is who I am becoming. Think about a student preparing for exams. Studying for 5 hours feels overwhelming. But studying the most difficult chapter for 30 minutes feels manageable. Questions. That one hard chapter done daily creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence reduces fear. And suddenly what once felt impossible feels normal. Questions. The beauty of doing one hard thing is that it simplifies life. Instead of feeling guilty all day about everything you didn't do, you feel proud of the one thing you did. That pride becomes fuel. Questions. It changes how you see yourself. You no longer see yourself as someone who quits. You start seeing yourself as someone who shows up. In relationships too, this habit matters. Questions. Many conflicts continue not because the problem is big, but because the conversation feels hard. Making that honest call, expressing your feelings clearly, questions, or setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable for 10 minutes, but avoiding it creates discomfort for months. Doing the hard thing once saves you from repeated pain. People often say, questions, life is hard, but life becomes harder when we avoid hard things. Avoidance compounds stress. Action reduces it. The moment you do the difficult task, your mind relaxes. Questions. The fear was bigger than the reality. This habit also builds emotional strength. When you face discomfort daily, you stop being afraid of it. You learn that discomfort doesn't break you. Questions. It trains you. Just like muscles tear slightly to grow stronger, your character grows through small daily struggles. A very simple example is physical health. Questions. The hardest part of exercise is not the workout, it is starting. Once you begin, the body cooperates. The same applies to life decisions. Starting is painful. Continuing is easier. Questions. Finishing feels powerful. Doing one hard thing daily also teaches patience. Results may not show immediately. You may wake up early for weeks without feeling productive. Questions. You may study consistently without instant success. But something invisible is happening. Your identity is changing. You are becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. Questions. And that identity is priceless. The goal is not perfection. Some days you will fail. Some days the hard thing will feel very small. That is okay. Questions. What matters is the intention to choose growth regularly. Even a small hard thing done honestly is better than big plans done occasionally. Over time, this habit reshapes your life quietly. Questions. You start trusting yourself. Others start trusting you. Opportunities appear because you are prepared, not because you are lucky. When you look back after 1 year, you won't remember every struggle. Questions. But you will remember the strength you built by not running away from discomfort. Do one hard thing daily, and one day you will realize that the things that once scared you no longer control you. Questions. And that is the true definition of success. Questions. Complaining has become so normal in daily life that we hardly notice when we are doing it. It slips out in casual conversations, morning discussions, office tea breaks, family dinners. Questions. And even in our own thoughts, we complain about traffic, weather, people's salary, workload, relatives, government, fate. The list never ends. Complaining feels light, almost comforting. Questions. Because for a moment it gives us the illusion that we are releasing stress. But in reality, complaining does not reduce pain, it multiplies it. Think about a normal morning. You wake up late. Questions. And immediately the mind starts, why is this happening to me? The traffic is slow, so you complain. The boss is demanding, so you complain. By the time the day ends, questions. Nothing has changed externally, but internally you are exhausted. Not because life was difficult, but because you carried every difficulty twice. Once as a situation and once as a complaint. Questions. Complaining trains the mind to focus on what is wrong. Observing trains the mind to understand what is happening. There is a big difference. When you complain, you feel powerless. When you observe questions, you feel curious. And curiosity is the first step toward change. A simple daily life example is standing in a long queue. A complainer keeps checking the time, sighing, getting irritated at people's questions, and mentally fighting the situation. An observer notices patterns, how queues move, how people behave, how impatience rises. The situation is the same, but the inner experience is completely different. Questions. One drains energy, the other builds awareness. Many people complain without realizing that they are strengthening the habit of helplessness. The mind slowly starts believing questions. Nothing is in my control. This belief is dangerous. It makes us passive. It stops growth. Observing, on the other hand, asks a different question. Questions. What part of this is in my control? Even if the answer is small, it restores dignity. Look at workplaces. Two people can have the same job, same boss, same pressure. Questions. One complains every day and feels stuck for years. The other observes, what skills do I lack? Where can I improve? How can I respond differently? Over time, one becomes bitter. Questions. The other becomes better. The difference is not talent, it is mindset. Complaining also damages relationships. When we complain about people instead of observing them, we label them. Questions. He is always like this. She will never change. Observation says, this person reacts this way under stress. Labels close doors. Observation opens understanding. Questions. When you observe instead of complain, empathy grows naturally. A mother once shared how she used to complain about her child being careless and disobedient. Every day ended with frustration. One day, questions. She decided to stop complaining and start observing. She noticed the child struggled with focus, not intention. That observation changed her approach. Instead of scolding, she guided. Questions. The behavior slowly changed. Complaining created distance. Observation created connection. Another powerful truth is this: complaining keeps the problem alive in your mind. Questions. Observing allows the problem to pass through without staying. When you complain, you replay the same event again and again mentally. When you observe, you learn and move on. Questions. This does not mean you should suppress emotions or pretend everything is fine. Observation is not denial. It is awareness without drama. You can acknowledge pain without becoming a victim of it. Questions. You can say, this is difficult, without saying, my life is terrible. In fact, many wise people say that life becomes lighter not when problems disappear, but when reactions reduce. Questions. Observation reduces unnecessary reactions. It creates space between the event and your response. And in that space lies freedom. Think about health and fitness. A person who complains says, questions. I have bad genes, I don't have time, exercise is too hard. An observer says, I feel tired after sugar. I feel better after walking. That observation leads to small changes. Questions. Those small changes lead to transformation. Complaining keeps you stuck in explanation. Observation moves you toward solution. Observing also makes you emotionally intelligent. Questions. You start noticing your own patterns. When do you get angry? When do you feel insecure? What triggers stress? This self-awareness is powerful. You stop blaming others and start understanding yourself. Questions. A very simple practice is to replace why me with what now? Why me? Creates frustration. What now? Creates direction. One weakens you, the other strengthens you. Over time. Questions. When you stop complaining, something interesting happens. You realize that many things you complained about were not problems at all. They were just inconveniences. Questions. And inconveniences do not deserve your peace. Life will still challenge you. People will still disappoint you. Situations will still be unfair. But when you stop complaining and start observing, questions, you stop leaking energy, you start conserving it. And that conserved energy becomes clarity, strength, and wisdom. When you observe life instead of complaining about questions, life slowly starts teaching you instead of testing you. And that shift changes everything. Questions. One of the most underestimated forces shaping our life is not luck, not talent, not even hard work. It is the people we spend our time with. Human beings are like mirrors. Slowly, silently, questions. We begin to reflect the attitudes, habits, language, and mindset of those around us. This does not happen in one day, but over time it becomes your reality. Think about daily life. Questions. Spend 10 minutes with someone who is constantly negative and notice how your mood drops without any clear reason. Spend 10 minutes with someone who is hopeful and focused and you feel lighter. Questions. More motivated. Energy is contagious. Whether we like it or not, we absorb the emotional climate of our circle. Many people say, questions, I can stay focused even if others are lazy, or I won't be affected by negativity. But this is overconfidence. Even strong minds get tired swimming against the current all the time. Questions. That is why environment matters more than willpower. Willpower is limited. Environment works 24/7. Your circle doesn't only influence what you do, it influences what you believe is normal. Questions. If everyone around you complains about work, you start believing dissatisfaction is normal. If everyone around you avoids responsibility, you start believing effort is optional. Slowly, questions, standards drop, not because you wanted them to, but because humans adjust to fit in. Look at students. A child who studies with focused friends starts valuing learning naturally. Questions. A child surrounded by distraction has to fight daily battles just to concentrate. The same syllabus, the same school, but different outcomes because the circle was different. The truth is, questions. We become average of the people we listen to most, not the people we admire from afar, but the people whose opinions shape our decisions. If your close circle mocks discipline, laughs at ambition, questions, and calls consistency boring, it becomes very hard to stay committed to growth. Guarding your circle does not mean cutting people off angrily or judging others. It means being conscious. Questions. You can love people without allowing them to lead your life. You can be kind without being influenced. Many people stay in unhealthy circles because of comfort and history. Questions. We have known each other for years, but growth does not ask how long you have known someone. It asks how far you are going together. Some people are meant to walk with you for a chapter. Questions, not the entire book. A simple daily example is food habits. If everyone around you eats unhealthy food daily, eating clean requires constant resistance. But if your circle values health, questions, discipline becomes effortless. The same applies to mindset. A growth-oriented circle makes growth feel normal. Sometimes the most difficult part of guarding your circle is loneliness. Questions. When you outgrow certain conversations, you feel alone even in a crowd. That phase is uncomfortable but necessary. Silence is better than noise that pulls you backward. There is a beautiful truth. Questions. You don't need many people, you need aligned people. One friend who encourages discipline is better than 10 who normalize laziness. Quality always beats quantity. Also, questions. Your circle includes more than people you meet physically. It includes what you watch, what you listen to, what you read. If your daily diet is gossip, negativity, and drama, questions, your mental circle is unhealthy, even if your physical circle is fine. Guarding your circle also protects your self-belief. When you share dreams with people who don't understand growth, questions, they often respond with fear disguised as advice. Be practical. That's too risky. People like us don't do that. Slowly, you start doubting yourself. Questions. Wise people are selective with whom they share their dreams. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Some people don't want you to succeed. They want you to stay relatable. At work, questions. Observe carefully who pushes you to grow and who keeps you comfortable. Comfort feels good today, but growth pays tomorrow. Questions. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you respectfully sharpens your character. Guarding your circle also means learning when to step back from conversations that drain you. Questions. Not every argument needs your energy. Not every opinion needs your reaction. Protecting your peace is also protecting your future. Over time, when you choose better company, questions, your habits change without force. You wake up earlier because your environment supports it. You speak more positively because positivity surrounds you. You dream bigger because you see it as possible. Questions. Your future self will thank you for the boundaries you set today. Because the people you walk with shape the paths you take. And when your circle grows stronger, your direction becomes clearer. Questions. Guard your circle carefully, because success is rarely a solo journey, but it always begins with choosing the right companions. Questions. Every day, without thinking much, we decide what to eat for our body. We worry about taste, health, calories, and timing. Questions. But very few people give the same attention to what they are feeding their mind. And yet, the mind decides the quality of our thoughts, our decisions, our emotions, and ultimately our life. Questions. Think about a normal morning. Many people wake up and immediately start consuming content. News, social media, random videos, gossip, negativity. Before breakfast is even prepared, questions. The mind has already eaten junk. Then we wonder why we feel restless, anxious, distracted, or demotivated. Just like junk food makes the body weak over time, mental junk makes the mind fragile. Questions. The mind, just like the body, needs nourishment. And it needs it early. When you feed your mind something positive, meaningful, or calming before the day's chaos begins. Questions. You create a protective layer around your thoughts. You don't become immune to problems, but you become stronger in handling them. Questions. A simple daily life example is the difference between starting the day with negative news versus starting it with a few pages of a good book or a motivational thought. The news may inform you, questions, but it often floods you with fear, anger, and helplessness. A book or uplifting content, on the other hand, reminds you of values, possibilities, and perspective. The external world may be the same, questions, but your inner world becomes steadier. People often say, I don't have time to read, or I don't know what to listen to. But the truth is, time is not the problem. Priority is. Questions. We always make time for what we value. Even 10 minutes of intentional mental nutrition can change how you think for the rest of the day. Look at students again. Questions. A student who begins the day watching random videos finds it harder to focus. A student who starts the day reading or revising something meaningful enters study mode naturally. Questions. The mind continues in the direction it was pointed toward first. Feeding your mind does not mean only reading books. It means being mindful of what you allow into your mental space. Conversations, questions, music videos, and even jokes shape your thinking. Repeated exposure becomes belief. Belief becomes behavior. Think about how repeated negativity works. If you keep hearing that life is unfair, questions. People are bad, success is impossible. Your mind accepts this as truth. You start lowering expectations. You stop trying. This is not reality, this is conditioning. On the other hand, questions. When you feed your mind with ideas of growth, resilience, gratitude, and purpose, you start seeing opportunities where others see problems. You start believing effort matters. Questions. You start trusting yourself. There is a reason successful people talk about morning reading, reflection, or silence. They are not trying to sound spiritual or intellectual. Questions. They are protecting their mental energy. They know that once the day begins, demands will pull their attention in many directions. Feeding the mind early creates a strong foundation. Questions. Even in emotional moments, what you feed your mind matters. After a failure, if you feed your mind with self-criticism and comparison, pain multiplies. Questions. If you feed your mind with learning and compassion, growth begins. Same event, different input, different outcome. In family life, mental diet plays a huge role. Questions. If family conversations are full of complaints, fear, and criticism, the emotional atmosphere becomes heavy. If conversations include encouragement, solutions, and gratitude, questions, the home becomes a place of strength. Children especially absorb mental nutrition without questioning it. Another powerful truth is this: your mind becomes hungry for what you repeatedly feed it. Questions. If you feed it shallow entertainment, it craves more of the same. If you feed it depth, it begins to enjoy depth. The initial resistance disappears over time. Questions. Feeding your mind also helps you make better decisions. A nourished mind thinks clearly. It pauses before reacting. It chooses long-term benefit over short-term pleasure. Questions. An underfed mind seeks quick relief, even if it leads to regret. You don't need to completely avoid entertainment or news. Balance is the key. Just like you don't eat sweets all day. Questions. You shouldn't consume mental sugar all day. Give your mind something nourishing first. Let junk come late if at all. Start small. One paragraph. One inspiring video. One prayer. Questions. One moment of silence. Done consistently, this small habit reshapes your thinking. Over months, it reshapes your life. Remember, your life moves in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Questions. And your strongest thoughts come from what you feed your mind daily. So before you feed your mouth, feed your mind. Because a strong mind creates a strong life.